former governor was not a member of the APC and therefore lacked the locus to dabble into the affairs of the ruling party. The National Secretary stated these in a post on the official X handle of the APC in response to Wike's warning to him to steer clear of Rivers State. The former lawmaker said as National Secretary of the ruling party, he was imbued with the responsibility to protect the interest of the party and all its members and structures. The minister had asked the ruling party's scribe to steer clear of Rivers State politics during his thank you visit to the Onyegbo local government area of the state. The former Rivers governor also stated that he would bring Bashiru's comment to the attention of President Bola Tinubu.
Let me warn those who come to Rivers State because you have heard about 600 billion. You come here, you collect, and you open your mouth to talk anyhow. I want to say it. You know, when you are doing something for the interest of everybody, some people will come out to make sure those things don't work. I say it here, Victor, I want to say it here. Take this message. Tell your National Secretary, leave Rivers State alone. Leave Rivers State alone. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Don't take our support from Mr. President for granted. You have to be careful the statement you make. You have to be careful. Today, you are enjoying in Osun. You don't know those who did the work. You are opening your mouth to talk about Rivers State. Anything you see, take it. Anything you see, what? Take it.
Agreement is agreement, yo. Agreement is agreement, yo. Without reaching for settlement, you can't determine nonsense. Agreement is agreement, yo.
When Mr. President comes back, when I see the Minister of Blue Economy, I will tell them to tell him, go and ask other people what has happened to them before. Putting Rivers State, carry your hand to come to Rivers State. If your hand burns, don't say the people no more. I can challenge anybody. This state is a no-go area. This state is a no-go area. Whether you like it or you don't like it or there. So, take the one you have taken. Stop making unnecessary comments.
In another development, the federal government has reassured Nigerians that the 2026 national budget is well planned to solidify the gains of President Bola Tinubu's reform agenda. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, in an open letter titled "A Defining Moment for Nigeria Why Staying the Course Matters," noted that the economic reforms by the current administration already yielding positive results. The proposed 2026 budget presented by President Tinubu in December 2025 totals 58.18 trillion naira, focusing on security, infrastructure, health, and education. The minister stated that the budget is a commitment to double down on what is working, to solidify gains, and to ensure that shared prosperity becomes a lived reality for more Nigerians faster. According to the minister, the last 31 months have been a period of difficult but necessary change, beginning with key economic decisions taken to end stagnation and build a more stable future. He added that signs of progress are beginning to emerge, with business activity expanding, investor confidence improving, inflation easing, and Nigeria's external reserves strengthening. The leadership of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has decried the high cost of living in the country, demanding an increase in the allowances of workers. The TUC made the call in a statement on Monday by its president, Festus Osifo, and General Secretary Nuhu Toru, advocating an enhanced social welfare package for workers, including payment of increased allowances that will help to cushion the effects of a rising inflation in the country. It called on government at all levels to urgently review the enhanced workers' allowances as a temporary relief measures pending the full implementation of a new national minimum wage in 2027, in line with the extant labor law. It also asked workers to remain united, renew their resolve to building a labor movement that stands for workers and for Nigeria. According to the statement, the union pledged the continued support of the Congress to engage the government and other employers of labor for policies that will be worker-friendly. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Army has commenced an investigation into the death of a 13-year-old boy allegedly shot by a soldier in Ikot Abasi local government area of Akwa Ibom State. The incident, which occurred in the early hours of January 1 along Akung Tegong Road, sparked outrage and tension within the community. The Army Public Relations Officer to Brigade Captain Lawal Mohammed said the matter had been taken over by the military police, assuring that due process will be followed. Eyewitness account indicates that the victim, Timothy Daniel, was returning from a crossover service with his 15-year-old sister, Miracle Daniel, when the incident occurred at about 12:05 a.m. Eyewitness accounts said Miracle had briefly crossed the road when the soldier who was on guard duty at the residence of the late former clan head, Clement Idemudo, allegedly followed her and made inappropriate advances. According to the account, when the girl resisted and protested, the soldier allegedly became aggressive and threatened her. Timothy, who was waiting nearby, reportedly confronted the soldier over the alleged harassment of his sister, leading to a heated exchange. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back to this break.
Up to 75% of human infectious diseases originates in animals. And as more bushmeat is brought into our cities, the risk of human infectious disease outbreaks increases. Ebola, monkeypox, Lassa fever, yellow fever, and even COVID-19 may have been transmitted in this way. Illegal bushmeat trade not only endangers our wildlife, but affects our health and may damage our economy. So please, say no to illegal bushmeat. Keep them wild and keep us safe.
Very many thanks for being there. Moving on and talking business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has rejected a circulating report claiming the facility is shutting down for maintenance, describing the story as false and misleading. In a statement released on Monday, the refinery emphasized that production remains ongoing, stable, uninterrupted. It said the refinery continues to operate at scale and retains the capacity to supply between 40 million and 50 million liters of premium motor spirit (PMS) daily through January and February, subject solely to market demand. It added that on January 4, the refinery produced 50 million liters of PMS and evacuated 48 million liters via its gantry, noting that current stock levels covered over 20 days of national consumption, effectively dispelling any concerns about supply. The refinery clarified the routine maintenance on specific units, including the crude distillation unit and residual fluid catalytic cracking, does not interrupt overall production. The refinery also reaffirmed its ex-gantry price of 699 naira per litre for PMS available to all marketers and bulk consumers. Still in business, gold rose further today to hit a one-week high as Federal Reserve officials boosted interest rate cut bets and Venezuela tensions boosted demand. Spot gold was up 0.5% at $4,469.96 per ounce as of 5:34 a.m. GMT after rising nearly 3% in the last session. Bullion hit a record high of $4,549.71 on December 26 and logged its best annual performance since 1979 last year with a jump of 64%. U.S. gold futures for February rose 0.7% to $4,481.30. Investors currently expect at least 2 rate cuts this year, while they look to the non-farm payroll reports due on Friday for more monetary policy cues. Ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro pleaded not guilty on Monday to narcotics charges after U.S. President Donald Trump's capture of him rattled world leaders and left officials in Caracas scrambling to regroup. Spot silver gained 3.5% to $79.18 per ounce after hitting an all-time high of $83.62 on December 29. Silver ended 2025 with annual gains of 147%, far outpacing the gold. And now to the foreign scene, toppled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro pleaded on Monday not guilty to narcotics charges after President Donald Trump's stunning capture of him rattled world leaders and left officials in Caracas scrambling to regroup. Maduro, speaking through an interpreter, said he was innocent and still the president of his country before being cut off by U.S. District Judge Alvin Celestian in Manhattan Federal Court. Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, also pleaded not guilty. The next court date was set for March 17. Dozens of protesters, both pro and anti-Maduro, gathered outside the court before the hearing. Inside, as he stood shackled at the ankles and wearing orange and Beng-praising garb, Maduro declared he had been kidnapped and remained president of Venezuela. Maduro is accused of overseeing a cocaine trafficking network with international drug cartels and faces 4 criminal counts: narco-terrorism, cocaine importation, conspiracy, and possession of machine guns and destructive devices. Maduro has long denied the allegations, saying they were a max for imperialist designs on Venezuela's rich oil reserves. Meanwhile, the supporters of President Trump, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, defends Trump's action as Democrats raise questions.
Let me say this with regard to the top line on all of this. The U.S. military operation in Venezuela was a decisive and justified action. Nicolas Maduro is responsible for the deaths of untold thousands of Americans after years of trafficking illegal drugs and violent cartel members into our country. This is undisputed and everybody agrees with it. These are crimes for which he's been indicted in U.S. courts and an arrest warrant was duly issued. And now he has learned what accountability looks like. Under President Trump, the United States will no longer allow criminal regimes to profit from wreaking havoc and destruction on our country. He's putting Americans first and succeeding where others have failed, and this is very clear. This operation demonstrated the unmatched precision and effectiveness professionalism and capability of the U.S. military. There's no other force on planet Earth that can do what we can do. And it produced an outcome only America's armed forces could achieve. Our brave military personnel who executed this successful operation with speed and precision and power deserve our gratitude and our congratulations. You should sleep a little better at night knowing that we have this great force.
To the war in Ukraine, Ukraine's allies meet in Paris on Tuesday seeking to finalize as much as possible their contributions to future security guarantees to reassure Kyiv in the event of a ceasefire with Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be joined by more than 27 leaders in the French capital, along with senior U.S. negotiators Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, as part of broader efforts to put together a common Ukrainian, European, and American position. Talks to bring the almost 4-year conflict to an end have accelerated since November. However, there have been few signals Russia would be willing to accept current proposals on the table, with the issue of territory remaining a key obstacle to negotiations. Ahead of today's meeting, diplomats said military officials, including the head of Ukraine's general staff, were in Paris to put concrete commitments on paper so that leaders could provide political backing. In his evening address to the nation on Sunday, Zelensky said the meetings in Europe should become one more contribution to Ukraine's defense and bring closer efforts to end the war.